Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator. In this video, we're going to talk about this headline that's out here today, April 23rd, 2024. A new electrochemical approach not will, could reduce ocean acidity and remove carbon in the process. And, ocean acidity and carbon in our oceans, they talk about the warming oceans, but, the oceans are getting beaten up and, they are essential for life and the life of the planet, which allows you to live, But the really funny thing is, we'll talk about, ocean acidification here a bit, but the really funny thing kind of is, this electrochemical process, is experimental, gonna cost a lot of money without guaranteed results. It's a could, and we don't know what the negative consequences of it could be. But right here, when you scroll up on this page of phys.org, what are the dumbest things people overspend on? Okay, that's right there. That's an ad at the top of the page. And let me tell you, one of the dumbest things the world is spending on is processes to remove carbon so that the ocean doesn't get more acidic, when the only thing you have to do is very simply remove the carbon, which no one has allowed since November 93, if you've been around here before. The environmental education, the environmental educator education and agenda would have significantly reduced our carbon emissions, our toxins, our chemicals, all our processes, all of our problems long ago. So this is one of the most ridiculous things that governments, government agencies, whoever is funding this, even if it's private, is wasting money on. Now, ocean acidification, according to the National NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, what is ocean acidification? Well, it refers to the reduction of pH in the ocean over an extended period of time, caused primarily by uptake of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Everybody knows that trees take in carbon and they store it in their wood, but the oceans take in carbon too. The oceans dissolve carbon dioxide like a cup of coffee dissolves sugar. So there's a lot of carbon dioxide in the oceans. And so it says right here that for over more than 200 years, or since the Industrial Revolution, the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere has increased, and the ocean absorbs about 30% of the carbon dioxide that is released into the atmosphere. And it says, as the levels of atmospheric carbon dioxide increase, so do the levels in the ocean. And it says when CO2, carbon dioxide, is absorbed by seawater, a series of chemical reactions occur, resulting in the increased concentration of hydrogen ions. This increase causes the seawater to become more acidic and causes carbonate ions to be relatively less abundant. And carbonate ions are an important building block of such structures as seashells and coral skeletons. And decreases in carbon ions can make building and maintaining shells and other calcium carbonate structures difficult for calcifying organisms such as oysters, clams, sea urchins, shallow water corals, deep sea corals, and calcareous plankton. So it also says that the changes in the ocean chemistry can affect the behavior of non-calcifying organisms as well. certain fish's ability to detect predators is decreased in more acidic waters. When these organisms are at risk, the entire food web may also be at risk. So it says ocean acidification is also affecting the entire world's oceans, including coastal estuaries and waterways. Many economies are dependent on fish and shellfish, and people worldwide rely on food from the ocean as their primary source of protein. So, things have consequences. This is another NOAA page here. It says a bunch of the same things, maybe a little more detail in here, but it's kind of about the same idea. Especially the shellfish type of organisms, but it affects a lot of things. But primarily everything is affected by money, and when you're wasting money, okay, to try to come up with processes to remove carbon when it's so easy to just simplify things and to take away endless processes that we do every day that we wouldn't need if we weren't a disposable society, or, if we were utilizing hemp. And, I mean, this just addresses so many problems beyond carbon in the atmosphere, in our waters. But, right here, under the challenge ahead heading, it says the good news is it is possible to rebalance the pH of oceans using a process called ocean alkalinity enhancement, or OAE. Okay, keyword here, it is possible. Okay, and again, why are we doing this process? It says, what's more, this rebalancing will also encourage additional CO2 to be absorbed from the atmosphere. So I guess they're saying that when, they do this process and they help take carbon out of the oceans, that the oceans can just absorb more carbon. So this is a good solution, because then we can just keep doing all these processes instead of the actual needed solution, which is to just stop all of our abuses. Okay, it's this just insanity. Right, and it says it right here: by carefully and continually restoring the ocean's alkalinity, the ocean's acidification and excess atmospheric carbon dioxide concentrations can be tackled simultaneously. But it's not. It's just continuous processes. It's just that they say the most obvious approach would be to add finely ground alkali minerals into the ocean to directly lower the acidity of the water. However, the massive scale at which these processes would have been enacted is staggering. That's the whole ocean. Okay, they say they estimate that the equivalent mass of roughly 8,000 Empire State Buildings worth of alkaline substances would be needed to be added to the oceans every year, starting by mid-century. Okay. Clearly, this technique cannot be the sole solution. It's not even the solution. It's a ridiculous Band-Aid. This is the solution that no one will allow. Okay. And the thing here is, okay, when are we going to start this? It's 2023, 24? Oh, mid-century. So when does that mean? Late 40s, 50, like a couple decades from now? Okay, so, that doesn't, with all this talk about things need to be done, when you're talking about starting things mid-century, 24, 25, 6 years from now, people don't really see this as an important subject matter. But, so this is all just ridiculousness. And ridiculousness is what the environmental world does. And this is one of the dumbest things people are overspending on. not just money, but resources and time and energy, when if we would just actually go out and get the solutions, logical, sensible, can't be argued against solutions implemented, we would have ended all of that carbon and so much more that's always constantly being put into the atmosphere. So it wouldn't be going into the oceans, acidifying it, and creating other problems. But God forbid anybody, including up to right now Bobby Kennedy, Mr. Godsend Environmental, running for president, the highest national public servant, will not give you actual real solutions. So instead, we talk about ridiculous things and processes that they're not even going to start till mid-century. And they admit it isn't the solution. It's just now more and more processes going on 24/7 when just no one will allow solutions. So stay tuned, people.